44 feet of articulated lorry bowling down the Queen's Highway. We've all been stuck behind them and we know they occupy an awful lot of road. Well, the annoying thing about them is that 30% of the time they're carrying little more than air back there because they're not full for the return journey. And even when they are loaded, a lot of these vehicles are rarely up to their full capacity. Well, now there's a new design for trucks like these to improve their efficiency. Now, this may look like the interior of a pretty conventional 40-foot articulated trailer. You might remark there's not an awful lot of headroom. Well, that's because this is a double-deck trailer, and beneath this steel floor is the same capacity as a 17-ton rigid truck. Now, that represents over 50% more payload for a not much more expensive trailer. But the second vehicle is eliminated altogether, and that means huge savings for the operator. The problem with parcel delivery is that volume is more critical than weight. Parcels can't be stacked very deep without damage, and that normally leaves a lot of wasted space. But with delivery taking place overnight, loading rate is less critical, so the extra time taken to lift the roll cages up to the upper deck is not significant. It's a different matter with a supermarket operation or a DIY chain. B&Q are trying out a dozen double-deck trailers before modifying the loading bay originally designed for single-deck operation. The conventional 40-foot articulated trailer, and you've only got to look at it to see the problems. Tremendous amount of wasted space under here, gigantic girder chassis, and at the back, solid axles that run right across the body of the trailer and determine the minimum height of the floor. Now, on the double-decker unit, they've done away with those big solid axles, independent suspension, and that means a much lower trailer floor. Even with the extra time taken to load both decks, the company is saving thousands of pounds a week over its conventional trailer operation. The same advantages apply to curtain-sided vehicles. Often behind those screens, the trailers are half full, and for good reason. Avon, for instance, can't stack their fragile goods more than 6 boxes deep. Put in an extra floor, and capacity goes up from 20 pallets to 34. There are other advantages to the double-deck principle of more general benefit. More pallets per truck means fewer trucks, less congestion and less pollution. And that means the rest of us share the benefits as well. So why hasn't the scheme taken over completely? Well, fewer trailers mean fewer tractors, so the truck manufacturers aren't exactly delighted. Fewer trucks mean fewer truckers, so the drivers aren't too keen. And fewer trucks mean fewer miles, and so those hauliers who are paid per mile aren't very happy either. But this has not deterred the man who designed the trailers, Fred Wilson from Northern Ireland. He's also turned his attention to tankers. Now, it's rare to find a tanker that can be filled with another liquid for the return journey, so why not adapt it to carry something completely different? In this design, the tank holding liquid sugar is made flat-sided to fill the lower deck space, leaving room for a conventional curtain-sided load area on top. Now, once the liquid sugar has been pumped out at its destination, the sugar product, maybe sweets or soft drinks, can be loaded onto the top for at least part of the return journey to the sugar factory. And there are other benefits too. All these double-deckers stop other vehicles sliding under the trailer in an accident, and the load is carried much closer to the ground, making them more stable than normal designs. The latest development has been for parcel force. In a standard double-decker, their conveyors would foul the upper floor, so it can now be hoisted up out of the way. Once the bottom deck is full, lower the floor into position, raise the conveyor, and start loading the top. Like all the best ideas, simple but effective. Now, of course, articulated trucks are by no means all the commercial vehicles on our roads, and rigids make up a high proportion. On the face of it, couldn't you apply the same arguments? Well, the trouble is there's a great big prop shaft running underneath this truck driving the back axle. So why not simply introduce front-wheel drive? We've already got it in a lot of light vans, and that would free up the whole of this load area for the improvements in efficiency we've already seen in the double-deck trailers. As you might expect, Fred Wilson's got a design for just such a device on the drawing board already.